John Bass Podcast episode. I think this is 14. Nick, can I call you? Everyone calls you Nick? I know it's
dealer's choice, man.
Nick.
Whatever.
Okay,
yeah.
Nick. What is your last name? Nomad, or is that a play on words or?
I was just traveling for years, and I was a degenerate and didn't want everything to be traced back to my legal name in case, I ended up running for office in a few years. But yeah, that's where I post my crazy travel stuff, and then just memes that maybe HR would find offensive. So just change the last name on Facebook. It makes me that much harder to find. Sometimes I have a picture up of me with a mustache, so I'm in disguise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this realm as well, then you are known as Nick Nomads. Then keep it that way. You want to keep it that way on the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Or if you want to reveal your true identity, I don't care.
No, I'm like Spider-Man at this point. I think we'll just roll with it.
I can beep it out. Make people get. Wait, can I try and guess it?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, but if you don't feel comfortable telling me, you can still say no. Okay, all right, here we go. Nicholas Bryant.
Oh my God. No, I'm kidding. That's not it.
Are you fucking shit? I was like, no way.
That would have been great. Go buy a scratch-off ticket after that one.
So Nick Bryant, what were you doing traveling around? What was that about?
I guess I had a super early midlife crisis. And I guess I was just freaking out about what I was going to do with my life. And, honestly, I think it all began with Skyrim.
What's Skyrim?
The game, the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Never played it.
No.
Crazy. It is a huge thing. They're releasing it for the 18th time this month for the 10th anniversary.
Is it a Steam game?
It is definitely on Steam, but it's on all major platforms. It's a AAA game. The big dogs.
Like PlayStation 2, everything?
Yeah. I have it on my PS4 and my PS5. I'm pretty sure I had it on my PS3. I had it on my 360 back in the day.
Skyrim, R-I-M.
Yeah. I've owned too many copies of this game, but still not even half the ones they've produced. The same game over and over. They just keep re-releasing it. Anyway, the point of this was, so I was playing Skyrim. I'm 19 or 20. I've already started working in bars, and that's just kind of the direction my life is going.
Yeah.
And not that I have any problem with that. But I'm sitting at my house and getting a little lit playing Skyrim, and there are these beautiful just woodland mountain scenes that you're wandering through, and you have this beautiful sky. The graphics are just beautiful, but it's the northern lights will be going through the sky, and there's this big full moon over these mountains, and it's just gorgeous. And sometimes I would set down the controller and I just kind of leave that in the background while I went and brushed my teeth while I'm getting ready for bed and stuff, and it was just a pretty screensaver almost to have going. Yeah. But at some point, it started making me kind of sad because I knew I would never see anywhere that beautiful, and that was a humbling thought. I have one life and I'm spending it in my shitty apartment, working in this shitty dive bar, and I had a midlife crisis, and so I started traveling a lot. I've been, I don't even know, 12. 14 countries, something like that. I've been to 48 of the United States.
Which two have you not been to yet?
I have not been to Alaska or Hawaii because they're not particularly easy to get to.
Those are usually the two people I haven't been to.
Yeah.
But I was praying you were going to say Hawaii and Alabama. I don't know why. You hear that, Alabama? Nick fucking hates you.
Avoid your state. I do. I went to a Waffle House there one time, and
bro, I went to college there. It's actually not.
I feel
that
like
bad.
the university probably didn't feel much different than a Waffle House.
I didn't go to the University of Alabama. I went to the University of North Alabama, which is another.
I would distinguish myself like that too if I was them.
AKA South Central Tennessee.
Yeah,
same thing. But I was like, please say Alabama. So, I'm sorry. So you that's interesting that a game made you want to get up and go do something?
I don't even know if I'd say it made me want to do something. It produced in me this profound level of existential dread that motivated me to just stop drinking my nights away.
Well, I mean, that's kind of that's just another way of, explaining inspiration. It really is.
Yeah, that's fair. Most people, most great things have been done somewhat through fear.
Yeah, I mean,
fear of being forgotten.
Yeah,
fear of your wife leaving you. Like whatever it is, you're just
Third Reich.
I gotta build this fucking building, man.
Yeah, the Third Reich, communism, fucking everything.
Mao,
COVID. That's go. So you've been to all the states. Which countries have you visited?
I've been to Canada a couple times. Mexico. I don't plan on going back to Mexico. I got arrested there. That's a fun story.
Okay. Should we? We'll come back to that.
Yeah, we'll circle back to that.
Put a flag in that.
Yeah. South America. I did like a 2.5 month trip around South America where I went through like a bunch of Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile. And then I went to Japan for, I think, 2 weeks. Went to Ireland for like 3 weeks, Iceland for a week. I've hit some really cool spots, and then sometimes I'll just get in my car and drive around the States for like 6 months. Just go place to place, sleep in my car, and go. One time I went on like a national park tour. I got one of those national park passes. It's like $80, and you can park at any of the national parks for free. And like Petrified Forest is $36 or so to park at, so it pays for itself pretty fast if you go to like
Where's
3 state parks.
Is that in Wyoming?
No, that's south. I want to say it was maybe in Nevada.
Okay,
Like the bottom of Nevada, or maybe it was in Arizona.
Bro, that's crazy. It's so fucking pretty out there. Dude.
It is gorgeous. The Petrified Forest was awesome. Let's see, what else did I hit on that trip? I went to, what is that? Joshua Tree State Park. I went there. I went to Yosemite.
Awesome.
I went to Redwood. I went to Death Valley. I ran out of gas in Death Valley.
No.
Yeah. So I was driving through with a buddy. He came on this trip with me. And I woke up in the parking lot of a Denny's. He was inside just getting coffee, hanging out. He comes out and he's like, "Oh, good, you're awake. Are you ready to drive?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I have no real idea of where we are. I just put on a GPS and start going.
Yeah.
The town we were in apparently had one of those like last stop for however many mile signs. That's why I stopped there. I didn't know that, and we had like a quarter tank of gas. So in my 2014 Jetta with pretty solid gas mileage, that got me a good bit away, but not to the next gas stop. So we broke down like 7 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the fucking desert.
Oh, at least you broke down.
Yeah, there was. So we're on the side of the road, and I start just like packing up a bag and start walking, trying to find the nearest gas station. No idea of where it is. We'd driven through like small little ghost towns and stuff, but like nobody was there. And so we were like really out in the middle of nowhere. But luckily there was some sort of, I don't know, government agency or whatever operating out there, and they had like fuel tankers on base. They hooked me up with like 8 gallons of gas for free, and then I just got the hell out of Dodge and made it back to civilization. I think I went up through Yellowstone. I think from Yellowstone blizzard, so I just ended up going back to Colorado and taking shelter in Denver for a while.
That's fun, dude.
I've also
so much fun.
been to the Devil's Tower in Wyoming, but that was on a different trip. But I did climb the Devil's Tower, and that was a super cool experience. Devil's Tower is the first national monument. I believe it was established by Roosevelt. Quite possibly Satan. But the Native Americans have this whole story about like getting away from bears and how this whole thing came to be. But it looks like a giant rocky tree that's like grown out. I don't know. It's like this giant platform of rock, but it has almost this bark-like texture or like look to it. And I don't know. It's super cool. It was an incredibly difficult climb, and my girlfriend at the time and a friend of mine, we went and we climbed it, and that was super cool.
Like with ropes?
No, I do mostly free climbing, which is
Are you serious?
a lot more fun and also incredibly stupid.
How? Okay, so you climb up shit without any kind of rope or net under you.
Yeah, so I started climbing with ropes and, like safety devices.
Mm-hmm.
I found them to be very cumbersome, and they were in my way a lot when I wanted to do, like, Nathan Drake shit and jump from ledge to ledge. So
why are you doing that, though? What if
one, I was in the
miss?
middle of a midlife crisis.
Okay, gotcha.
Two,
I've done dumb shit.
I don't know, like, years of playing video games. Like, I grew up playing, Tomb Raider and just, like, platforming. I felt very confident in my abilities to do this. At 24, I was fit enough to do it as well. 30, I don't know. It's questionable. But 24, I was making those leaps.
That's watching those guys gives, I think, not just me, probably 99% of people, like, severe fucking anxiety. It's horrible.
Whenever I was out in Yosemite, I did want to do, what was it, El Capitan? Is that what's out there?
Oh yeah, I heard someone was talking about someone who climbed that. With nothing.
Yeah, someone free climbed it. There's videos on YouTube and stuff. It's absolutely crazy. I thought I was going to be that guy, and I got there and I looked at it and I was like, I don't think I'm that guy.
What was it? Just too treacherous?
Absolutely treacherous. But I know, like, my physical limits, and I don't think, like, I had just the grip strength at points that I would need to stay up there. Sometimes, like, my back spasms, sometimes my knees lock up. I knew all of that, and so I decided, like, that one was maybe not the best idea. But anytime I can climb something, I usually do. It's something I never really grew out of, I guess. Whether it's the arm of the couch or the Dublin Mountains, I'm just like, I want to get on top of that.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't mind being up high, but, like, I need to be up high and still be in, like, a sturdy place. Like, I don't like. I'm just not. You get me rolling and it's over.
I think I have a photo still somewhere in my Google Photos. I'll have to dig it out for you later. But I have a photo of sleeping on, like, an 8 by 4 foot ledge. And I was just climbing, and I got to this point. I was too tired. I was exhausted, and I was at the point I was ready to sleep. But, like, just physically, I could not climb anymore. And I couldn't go up. I couldn't go back down. I just had to sleep on this ledge. But it was 4 feet. So if I just took a big roll one way, I'm dropping down, like, 300 feet.
So did you just lay with your back against the...
I laid with my back against the rock wall, and then I put my backpack in front of me. I almost always climbed with a backpack, just like snacks and water and, like, whatever you may need, gloves. But I put that in front of me, so if I went to, like, try and go roll that way, I would hit that backpack, and hopefully I would rustle myself a lick. But I took a selfie while I was up there, like me laying on the cliff with, like, the view down, and it is absolutely, like, nightmare fuel.
Dude, absolutely no way would I get up there and do that. I don't know, man. It's just too... I mean, so from, like, even a young age, did you never have any sort of fear of heights?
I absolutely did. I don't know when it happened. Sometime in my late teens, I just hit this point of, I don't know if it was nihilism or, like, I don't know. It just... I didn't get anxious or worry about things. Like, I was unfazed. How bad the night just got. Like, I was cool as a cucumber. And it was really awesome. It wasn't until I was, like, 22 I developed anxiety. And that was life-changing. And I was like, man, this sucks. This is what everybody else has been dealing with. Like, it was
like third grade.
Yeah, it was a superpower I didn't know I had.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't get embarrassed throughout, like, all of my, like, school, my academic career. I wasn't, like, I never worried about what people thought of what I was wearing or how I looked. Like, I was totally free from all of that. As to where I feel like everyone else lived with, like, a crippling fear throughout all of school.
And then at some point in your 20s, it got turned on or something.
Yeah, I was in a really bad car accident, and it gave me PTSD. And especially in this line of work, it was very inconvenient because glass shattering was, like, a big trigger for me. And behind a bar, glass just breaks all the time, and that was, it would kind of set me off. And so I don't even remember what the point of this was now. Something
about the anxiety kicking in.
Oh yeah, so that I guess after that accident, I was kind of like maybe in shock for like a month or two, and then after that, anxiety and PTSD and all that kicked in, and I was like super anxious driving now, and glass shattering, like loud banging noises. So kitchen work wasn't exactly ideal for me anymore either. Basically, all of the things I'm trained really well to do were no longer ideal for me. It took like 6 months to kind of just like process all of that and get back to a point where I felt comfortable behind a bar. And though I left that bar job, I was a bar manager of a Longhorn Steakhouse in Florida. I left that job and I went back to a job I had whenever I was like 18 that was super easy and I really enjoyed, and I just, thought it'd be super easy to do, and that was delivering pizzas, which after a bad car accident that gives you anxiety was not the play. And so I did that for like a month and a half, and I realized this is fucking stupid. So that was down in Florida.
Maybe a little more time before you get, yeah.
So I was in Florida at the time. I moved back here, moved back home, moved in with a buddy of mine where like I rented a room for $200 a month and was able to just kind of ease back into the workforce, and eventually ended up waiting tables again, back behind the bar, and here we are 8 years later with anxiety.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, that's crazy to have it sort of just turned on like that.
Yeah, it'd be really great if I could, just get that back off. Maybe this therapy thing that everyone tells me I should go do, like maybe that would be, because life was so much cooler before that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been pretty cool since then too, and it's not been all bad, but it was definitely a lot cooler beforehand.
Yeah.
I've thought about this particular shirt and if I should have worn it at least 30 times since we started this podcast.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, I thought about that. I was like, do I look fat? I was like, it doesn't matter what you wear. You're looking fat.
Just so everyone knows, he was wearing shorts. He changed
I
for
did.
this.
I took them off. They're in this bag. They smell like my asshole.
Yeah.
Hey. What's up? Yeah. You going to come rip somebody's head off tonight? That's what you look like, dude. You're ripped. That's awesome though, man. Like, it's not awesome, but it's interesting.
That's cool. You can take pleasure in my misfortune. It's fine.
Well, I was gonna say the therapy thing though. I do therapy.
Yeah, I think therapy would do me some good. I've been actively looking into that more lately.
I say I go to therapy. In the past 2.5 years, I've probably gone 20 times. So I mean, some people would say that's not enough. I'm sure, like many of my friends would probably say that's not enough. You need to go more. But I don't know. I've recently realized that, like my last therapist, I felt like he sort of just said, he sort of just agreed with whatever I was telling him. And that's great. But I also, like, I get bored with that. Like, am I really? Are you just are you... What's going on? Like, I can't always just be right.
Maybe you are always right.
No.
Maybe that validation was correct.
Nope. No one deserves that much, like, yes, king, or whatever. Nobody. And I was like, I didn't feel like the last couple times I'd gone that I really had gotten too much out of it, other than I just, like, vomited all of my feelings out. That helps.
That helps, yeah.
Which maybe that's all it really is. But I definitely think it's good. I don't know, like, I don't know. I think it's good for some stuff, but I also think it has its limitations within, like, in the norm. You know what I mean? Regular old therapy, I think it's capped probably.
Yeah.
Some people need way more help than that.
That's fair.
So I don't know. I'm probably one of those people.
Yeah. I did.
It's not a bad idea, though.
I did get into a therapist during the pandemic, 2020, maybe like 8 months in. I've been off work for most of that, and I was doing okay, like financially. I was still able to pay my bills. I had good savings, and I had a nice garden out back. I was like keeping myself fairly well occupied, but after 8 months of not working and just kind of being in your house and avoiding society, which I tend to do anyway, but like now into to an extreme, just like, stay away from me, mouth breathers.
Yeah.
But it definitely got to a point of, I don't know.
got dark.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say rooting for the downfall of humanity, but there's sometimes it's like you saw like certain people get sick, and you're like, fucking, maybe this is karma. Maybe,
Yeah, I think.
Herman Cain was just a piece of shit. Maybe that's what it was.
Did he?
Herman Cain famously said COVID isn't real, and then COVID famously said Herman Cain's no longer real.
Oh, that's right. He died of COVID.
He died of COVID. Like,
Didn't he invent
weeks.
CC's Pizza or Little Caesar's Pizza?
That's possible. I don't know. I don't have that kind of background information.
I believe he became famous in some restaurant, and I think it's pizza. Yeah, he died though.
Yeah, he's very dead.
I mean, it's just like irony will get you, but you can't. There's no like, he didn't really do anything wrong by saying COVID's not real. He didn't really do. He just said it's not real.
It was. I mean, still realistically, that was maybe 6 months in.
Yeah.
Most people weren't buying the pandemic at that point.
Yeah.
So
it had to kill.
He was just
million.
he was expressing his honest viewpoints at that point. And they were proven wrong in the most direct way possible. Yeah,
irony is real funny. So
that would be like if I said, "Man, nobody dies in car accidents and then wrecked and died on the way home." Like that's objectively funny.
It is.
Yeah.
I went to a movie recently. I went and saw the new Nope movie. This is relates to what we're talking about, but. In the backs, there was sort of like not a disturbance, but there were some people talking about like whose seat was. Someone was in somebody's seat, I think. So is it the maitre d'? Is that the right word? The person that whatever.
I believe
the concierge of movie. I don't know.
Usher.
The usher. That's right. Yeah. That's the right word. The usher came and was like, "Well, let me see your ticket." And they were just talking, but the person that I was with got really anxious and wanted to leave, and they're like, "Something's gonna happen." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "I'm scared like somebody's gonna shoot the place up because they sound like they're arguing." And I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "I don't," and I didn't feel that. I couldn't feel that tension from the conversation. So I was like, "Let's just wait just a second, okay? Just hold on until we hear a scream or a gun cock. Let's just wait." But I guess that fear I told them, I said, "Nothing's going to happen. It's going to be fine." And they're like, "How do you know?" And I didn't know. I was like, and I almost said, "I don't fucking know," but then that would have just made them more anxious. So I was like, "It's not. I just promise it's not going to happen." I just totally lied. But I thought to myself, what if it happens and you said it wasn't? You said it wasn't and now it does. Irony again, same thing. But I was actually scared, but I had to be like, I had to pretend to be not scared. It's not very fun. I'd much rather just show how scared I am than pretend to be not scared. But I know we said you stopped it. You said Japan, Death Valley. So Death Valley, I was going to ask a question. I've been out there, but I don't think I went to Death Valley. Is Death Valley, I know it's isn't it in multiple states or something?
Yeah, it's huge. I forget how big exactly it is.
Doesn't it go all the way down close to Joshua Tree?
I don't think it goes down that far.
Is it in Nevada then?
I think it goes from Oregon, Utah, maybe a little bit of Idaho. It's more up in that region, I think. I don't know, because I feel like part of Death Valley is in California. I don't know. My geography's not great today.
Isn't it the hottest place on earth sometimes?
That sounds about right. It is super hot. It is the best stargazing in the United States. I know that, or in all of North America. That can't be right. Canada's got to have better spots. But at least in all of the United States, it is the absolute best stargazing and best for nighttime photos and stuff because of the lack of light pollution.
I went to Joshua Tree a couple years ago, and I drove from Phoenix to Joshua Tree, and then we went through the south exit or the south entrance gate, and we drove through the whole park, and we got to the north side, but the park was closing, so we had to exit out the north side, and there's no way to get back down. You've got to go fucking somewhere else.
I think I camped there. But not camped slept in my car, but you can camp there. But I think I just stayed in the park overnight.
Yeah, we had the kids, and it was we couldn't do that. But we were going back to Phoenix, so we exited the north side, and then we drove like kind of like similar. You were saying the GPS was like go this way, so we go down this road, and we did not pass another or see another car for like an hour and a half. Nobody, and there was no anything. It was just on the right side was like the mountains of, I guess, Joshua Tree. This was Joshua Tree on the right side, and then you had some plains, and then on the left you had plains, and you had the Moab, because I guess they meet, so that's why you have a lot of those. That's why you see the Joshua trees and those yucca trees a lot, because those two desert systems meet there. But anyway, the sky out there, like you were saying, I've never seen that many stars ever.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
I mean, I grew up in the fucking country, but like I've never seen. I was like, but I was scared because there was no fucking body, no gas. I'm lucky we had a full tank, because we had to drive 2 hours just due east, and then another hour and change south to get back on the interstate to go over to back to Phoenix. So just how big everything was out there really fucking blew my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I love it. Like I love going out there. So
Actually, I went out to Joshua Tree. So that trip, I was going to all these random places, but I didn't really have a lot of reasons to go to these places. Like, I hadn't been, like, yearning my whole life to go to Joshua Tree. It was just kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. Because a U2 song came on, and it was the one that had, like, the Joshua Tree photo album. So I went to Joshua Tree so I could try and find where that photo was taken. But when I got to Joshua Tree, not super surprisingly, my service sucked, and it took forever to get, like, an article about it to load. 45 minutes for it to load. So we're like hiking around. I'm climbing rocks as I like to do. And eventually I get the article to load, and it talks about how that photo wasn't actually even taken in Joshua Tree. It was taken in Death Valley, where like the last Joshua Tree was in this one area. And it's supposed to still be there, or it was still there. And I tried to find it, but I don't think I found it. Got distracted by running out of gas and such. But I'm pretty sure a couple of years ago, somebody like ran over it with their car or cut it down or something. Like,
I don't know how that's funny.
Just shitty American behavior. Yeah, like we can't have nice things. It's like there's one Joshua Tree out in this whole area off the road. We're just preserving it, making sure it stays here. And someone's like, I'm gonna drive up that fucking hill and hit that tree.
Yeah, it doesn't. I feel like it's not like that easy to get to either.
No, it was. It was a determined effort.
That's really stupid.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe America just has too many freedoms.
Yeah.
When you can drive your Hummer over, U2's album art, like maybe just calm the fuck down.
Well, I mean, maybe they were like true Americans, and they're like, we don't need to give this much attention to foreigners.
Fuck Bono.
Yeah, I remember when I went out there too, I thought, we're in Joshua Tree, look at all these Joshua trees. And then apparently, whoever I was with, my friend Quentin, was like, none of these are Joshua trees. Like, we won't see one at all today. Like, they're only in like you said, like one area or something. But all the trees it's a similar looking tree to that album. But what's in Joshua Tree, they're called like yucca trees or something. Like the one that's like it looks like a bunch of fingers.
The more you know.
Yeah, I didn't know, and I guess it's just because I'm dumb. But when I was did you know that cacti breathe through their fucking skin? That's how they absorb nutrients and water through the air. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Okay. I thought I was like the only one, but I remember when I went out there, I was like, how are these bastards living? Where are they getting the water from?
Yeah, that makes sense.
They get it from the
humid
air.
A humid wave coming through as opposed to having to rely on rain.
They draw it in. And I mean, I'm sure it can get dry enough to where they want it. There's nothing left for them to, but I didn't really, they're just, apparently they're really similar to other kinds of trees. They're just over evolution. They're like, if you look at the bark of them, it looks like a sponge almost, but really wild, like you can see through it. Almost, more like a net, I guess. But some cacti info.
Yeah, the more you know. Nerd alert.
For real, nerd alert. And that's all I know about cactuses. I feel so stupid saying cacti.
I feel like that's right though.
It is right, but I remember Like for
Even
example,
if it's not, it makes me happy.
like deer and deer,
yeah.
or bison and bison. It's plural and it's the same word, but logically it should be deers, right?
It seems correct.
Oh, or it's
Look at all them deers over there. Nah, it just sounds bad.
fish,
Fishes.
fishing.
Fishies.
Yeah, I think fishies is.
I think fishies is the plural of fish.
It is in my world.
Yeah.
Um,
Would you like a goldfish or would you like some gold fishies?
You're right. It sounds stupid if you say fishes. Whoever did English was right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't know why I thought you were from out of town for some reason. I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah, I was born about 8 minutes from here.
Nice.
I've left here a lot. I've lived plenty of other places, but it's so cheap and easy to thrive here. I just keep coming back.
It's not a bad place.
Whenever you can have apartment rent for $600 a month, like it's pretty easy to save up cash and get back on your feet. As opposed to I've lived in places that were $1,500 a month, and that's
It's
little
rough.
more of your income.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not a bad place. It's Lexington's not too bad either. Are you gonna?
Now we're fine.
Okay, I was just making sure. What other places have you lived in the States?
I lived down in Florida for like 8 months, maybe a year, somewhere around there. I lived out in Kansas for a while. I've drifted a lot. Not like in the, I guess, traditional sense of, I don't know, I hitchhiked for a while, but...
can you...
yeah.
Here,
Oh, sorry,
yes.
yeah.
Wait,
You're going to have a nightmare with mastering this
that's
audio later. It's been all
fine.
over the...
It'll be
over the
part of
place.
it.
Yeah, so anyway...
So, anyway, when I lived in Florida...
So I lived in Florida, lived down in Fort Myer, which was, I lived 10 minutes away from the 9th skankiest beach to spend your spring break on, according to whatever website ranks skankiest
Ninth
beaches.
skankiest?
Yeah, the 9th skankiest.
Like,
and
number
they took that
one-
as an insult. They were going for it.
9 out of how many, though?
I have no idea. But there's a lot of skanky beaches in Florida, so
There are.
Yeah, there are plenty. But it was the 9th. I feel like that's decent. Like that's the right amount of skank for me at that time in my life. Like I wanted a little bit of skank, but not like full blown skank. So
Yeah.
it's like lots of rum runners and scantily clad women.
What's a rum runner? Oh, a person running drinks?
No, it's just a delicious rum cocktail that tastes kind of like Kool-Aid and goes down too easy.
And then you get fucked up.
Yeah, then you have 14 of those and you're trying to play ultimate frisbee on the beach and you're just falling into the water and it's hilarious.
What was the beach called?
I think it was just Fort Myers Beach.
Shout out Fort Myers Beach.
Yeah. Shout out Lonnie Kai and their rum runners.
Lonnie Kai?
Yeah, that was
the bar?
That was the little bar that I spent a lot of time at there.
Fort Myers. I'm trying to think of all the beaches I attended in so far in my life in Florida. All but one were skanky as fuck.
Super skanky.
Yeah.
South Beach is probably like my favorite go-to.
Isn't it not? It's really nice.
It's super nice. It's a beautiful beach. Lots of, people trying to have fun out there. But not so many to where you can't find a spot kind of off to your own either. So, whether you want to be part of the crowd or totally isolated, I feel like you have that option. But about 40 minutes north of South Beach is another beach. It's basically part of South Beach, but sectioned off, and it is a nude beach. And that is where I like to go tan my butthole.
Nice.
So
Tanning your... Is that a thing? I've heard that it's a thing. Like
I don't know.
that people do it for to get vitamin D.
I feel like it's got to be good for you. Like the Lord intended for that to be like a special treat because it's not somewhere that commonly gets sun. They say like where the sun don't shine. So if you get sun in there, I feel like that's just like bonus points for life.
Does that just keep it from just getting weird discoloration?
I don't know. It's gotta. I don't know. Maybe it would help or hurt. I'm not even sure.
I don't even want to show the sun.
Yeah, I don't know what color my butthole normally is.
I don't
nor
wanna
what color it
show
is
it
after
to anybody.
tan it. Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Oh, what?
But I have no idea. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's
Hi,
going on, man?
how's it going?
How you doing?
Hi.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I would show my butthole in public.
There's a great
Wait, how
photo
do
of
you
my
do? Even
butthole
at a
out
new
there
beach,
somewhere.
there's other people, right?
Yeah, no, there's
So
other people.
How do you? Were you just making a joke, or did you really do this?
No, I did tan my butthole. You can get on my Instagram and find like photos of me and my girlfriend like laying out tanning our asses together on the beach. My girlfriend at the time.
That's cool.
But it was probably my favorite beach just because one, this is normally super pasty in here, and it was nice to get some color in there. And two, I've only ever had one experience where somebody came up and just started trying to talk and hang out with us. And, one girl was into them, and so that was fine. They just kind of chatted and did their own thing. But normally at the beach, I feel like if you're at like just a regular beach, nobody will approach you. You can just sit there and nobody will bother you all day.
But at
a nude beach, I guess there's something about like everybody's dicks are out and they're like, I'll go talk to this girl. She'll see my dick. It'll be a great time, and be like, I get the drive here, man. But
I feel like everyone that's at a nude beach, not everyone, but even if you're there with a significant other, everyone there is way more down to fuck than just everyone at the normal beach. Has to be. They've got it all.
I'm not saying I couldn't see myself getting into some sort of wild beach sex orgy there.
Totally.
But my interest for that day was entirely like, just
butthole related. You were there on business.
Yeah, I was there for business.
You were there on B-hole business.
B-hole business.
BHB. B-hole better B-hole Business Bureau.
Yeah.
We should make a sticker. That'd be a good spoof sticker.
That'd be I'll drive around with that on my car.
So, Nick, you manage your general manager or
assistant manager? Assistant to the general manager.
Okay, that's not really your title, is it? That's from The Office.
Yeah, that's basically my title.
That's
what I wrote on the plaque at my desk
here at Louisville Comedy Club.
Yeah, this place. Turns out
I was an assistant manager for 4 years.
That's rough.
But then I became a manager, and then I quit.
Yeah, I've been managing for the last 4 or 5 years off and on. Like I'll manage for a while, I'll take a bar job for a while. At this point in my life, I feel like both just make me miserable. I am so over, But you know exactly how management is, and
I get it. The reason I left my job, honestly, and I've had a few weeks to reflect since I've left it, and I'm doing this, I'm doing comedy, I do music, and I'm trying to focus energy on being creative, and that job didn't allow me to be creative. You can't. It's impossible. It's like automotive. There's no, unless you're in engineering. You can be creative if you really want to, but I'm not interested in the subject matter. So I'm like, I don't fucking care. I have no insight into the design of the car or anything. It's just I do a task or I manage people who do a task. So, so I wanted to do something. I want to find something that allows me to be creative, even if it's not necessarily like.
Have you tried bringing creativity to your comedy?
I've tried. It's been impossible. Nice. No, I've just been beating Luke up and taking his jokes and threatening to kick his ass if he tells anybody. I'm joking.
Yeah, the bad boy of comedy, Luke Willoughby. You're taking him down.
No, there's no reason to. He's already down there.
Luke wont to be.
Oh,
you can quote me on that. He's gonna cancel me. He's been canceling everybody lately.
Really? No. Luke's not canceled. Luke, I don't know. Luke's hilarious. The other day when Craig said Luke wannabe, that was hilarious. I'd never heard that was a good one.
I don't know who put him up to that, but that was just great.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
So Nick manages Louisville Comedy Club. Basically, you're the manager here.
I manage here. I don't know if I manage it well, but it stays functional. The lights are paid. I did that. So
hey man,
cool.
I enjoy.
That's not true. I had no part of that.
I enjoy coming here. Like even the nights when I didn't make the normal list, like I like coming and just throwing my name in, hopefully get up there. It's a great club, man. It really is. So
at this point, we'll cut to a pan shot of the nice showroom, and for all the viewers to see.
I'll take a quick shot of if Joe's okay with it, like just a picture of when people file in or something.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, man, it's a fun club. Like when it opened, was it November?
No, it was March. We opened in March. Was our first.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god. When it opened, like we're all really excited to have another club to go. Because there's clubs. There's one in Lexington, Cincinnati, and here there's two. But like another, the more. So
I also feel like not throwing any shade at the other clubs, but this is the club. We bring in a lot of A-list talent. We have a 300-person showroom. That's why we're able to bring in A-list talent. I feel like Comedy Caravan is it's a great place for the locals, and it's a good place to go catch like great touring acts. So just put in an off night there. Mm-hmm. They get some big names in there that they honestly like aren't big enough to normally get. Like it's like an 80-person room. It's not huge. Planet of the Tapes, I think, is 60 people, 55, something like that. But also pulling some really great names. But that's kind of like the alt comic room. And so I like how we all kind of have our own different vibes about us.
Yeah,
and we're all bringing in like, I don't know, sometimes the same talent. Like we do get some overlap, but a lot of good different talent. So sometimes I will go, I'll do my open mic that, I have to run the lights for on Wednesdays. And then Thursday, I'll go see Sam Talent over at Planet of the Tapes. Mm-hmm. And then Friday and Saturday, I'll come work my club and, get through those. Sunday, trivia, or sometimes we'll have an off-night show. Then Monday, you have Planet of the Tapes open mic. Tuesday, you have the Kaiju open mic.
Yeah.
And there's
a lot of stuff happening over here. I'm over here like 2 or 3, like minimum 1, but sometimes 2, 3. Like this week, this is my second night over here.
Yeah, you were here yesterday too.
So, I guess Tuesday, but I would have been here yesterday if not for being up at Summit City.
Yeah, I forgot we now have 2 open mics here, Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Because managers don't like having social lives.
Sign up.
Yeah. Do it. Openmicer.com.
Most comedians don't have any life either.
I know. I see you guys hanging around here like barflies. Just sometimes not even drinking, just hanging around, watching neurotically.
I honestly don't have enough time to do that. And not that I don't want to, because I love hanging with people. And when I can hang, I'm hanging. But, I got an hour and change back. And I'm also usually trying to go catch High Horse after this. But now that I'm not working in the day, I'm going to start coming on Wednesdays early. So I can't do that because I feel like I've been missing out on like some of the fellowship and stuff. And it's like so fun. You know what I mean?
That is one thing about our club that really stands apart from a lot of the others is the camaraderie here.
Yeah,
both between like all the comedians that come and hang out and just chit chat. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll have 40 local comedians just hanging out up front, and you'll have the headliner for the weekend hanging out too. Mm-hmm. I remember Gabriel Rutledge, like he came and did the open mic the week he was headlining, and then he just came out and sat at the bar and chatted with everybody for a couple hours. So that's really cool. And then also on the staff level, me and Bridget, we pick our employees very carefully. If you're a great server and can absolutely crush tables and you did great in your interview, but you just won't get along with the staff, we won't pick you up. Just, we keep that kind of a good vibe around. So everywhere. Our kitchen is one of the least hostile kitchens I've ever had to work in.
Wow.
Our bartenders all get along super well. There's not a lot of like competitiveness or drama. Our servers are all going out. Our whole staff pretty much goes out drinking together most nights.
That's awesome.
At the end of the night, everybody gets a staff meal and a staff drink, and everybody just sits at the bar, enjoys their meal, enjoys their drink, chit chats, and it really builds a whole, almost community feel around this place. And a lot of times at the end of the night, those comics will still be hanging out up there too. So I feel like everybody here is on a first name basis with everybody. Every
Yeah,
comedian and every staff member knows everybody else that comes through here.
Yeah, it's a really good vibe here, man. Like at the first time I came, like even from the first time, I was like, oh, this feels nice. Like the people that here are nice.
Yeah.
You know, so
And all the Bart clubs are great.
yeah. Oh yeah.
This is one of 6, soon to be 7, and they're all ran really well. They know what they're doing. But I will say that ours is better.
Well, you got to.
Yeah.
I'm
We're just a little bit better. Our green room candy selection's a little better. Our staff vibe is a little better. Our management's super awesome. It's all great, you know. I don't know what it is, but the other stores are awesome too. I trained up in Fort Wayne, and it was an absolute blast to work up there.
Yeah, I was there last night, and
Liz is fantastic. She is. She's the GM up there, and she was an absolute delight to work for. And
I believe I met Alex.
Yeah, he's.
I met Alex.
Yeah,
last
he's their
night.
new assistant manager. He's me for up there.
Okay. Yeah, I met him at the bar. Actually, I got booked 4 nights up there, or this month, but I can only make 2 of them. But I tried emailing, but I know that the email is probably not necessarily, I don't know if it was being monitored.
It should be.
Yeah,
but
yeah. He
I know
told
it
me
just
was.
it changed hands recently, so there could have been some
But,
overlap there.
he did. He actually responded, but
Cool.
I talked to him and let him know. So I didn't want to get I don't want anyone to think I didn't show up or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I would still show up even if I didn't have something else booked. But when I signed up, I didn't have those 2. I shouldn't be talking about this on the podcast. It's cool.
This is the real talk. This is the behind the scenes of comedy.
Yeah,
This
it
is.
is.
It's a lot of emailing. There's so much emailing involved in the comedy business. If you're not sending out 300 emails at the beginning of the month, I don't even see how you call yourself a comic. You just got to be constantly pestering everybody for work. Not me. I have no decision in that. Don't email me. But feel free to email my GM. Just blow her up all the time.
Oh my god! So we're gonna edit that out.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Yeah, I hope I can meet her someday.
Have you still not met Bridget?
No, I haven't. I just it's always there. So, but I have been out of town a lot on the weekends, so that's been why. But it's been my fault. It's not. I haven't.
No, yeah, I blame you entirely.
I haven't.
It's
been
unanimous.
here.
All the blame resides over here.
Yeah, it's all me.
Yeah. There's a lot of judgment from this side of the room, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, I can feel it. It's
Judgment, blame. That's the divide here.
I can feel it.
Yeah. It's a very divided country right now.
I'm definitely in the South in this scenario.
I'm a yuppie. I'll take that.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the club, and I think it feels, at least from an outside looking in, it feels like it's managed well. Like the people, I know Aaron. I've met Aaron from coming here, and some of the other staff that I met. Everyone seems like happy to be here. You know what I mean? They don't. Sometimes you go somewhere, you can tell they do not want to be this person hates their job.
Yeah, most jobs I've ever had, you could just read that on my face. I'm pretty sure. But even on my bad days here, it's still not the worst job.
Oh, yeah.
But I have been told, even this week, one of my kitchen guys pulled me aside 2 days ago and was just like, "Man, I love working here, and it just doesn't feel like work whenever I have to come in." And he lives in a halfway house with a lot of people just trying to get back on their feet right now, and he's listening to their struggles and how miserable they are, miserable at home, miserable at work. It just sounds awful, but I get to come here and do this, and it's pretty cool when you get to meet famous comedians every weekend. That's just part of your job. My favorite so far has got to be David Keckner. Just an absolute delight. Took me out to breakfast, made drinks for all our servers and stuff. Their staff drinks. He's back there shaking them up.
That's fucking awesome.
Came through and talked to everybody in the kitchen. Found out one of our guys in the kitchen was going through the 12 steps, and just talked to him about sobriety for an hour, and
holy shit.
He was just way cool the whole time, and a really, really involved dad. He has I think 1,000 kids, at least 5, I don't know, but he calls them all and knows what's going on in their life. I had to pick him up from the airport in Lexington. We had an hour commute together, and he's just calling all of his kids and talking to this one about their car trouble and this one about the swim meet at school, and just super involved. And I've not seen anyone else like that involved in their family life from the green room. But he was just in between shows, every show in between shows, calling, checking on all of his kids.
That's good.
He's a very,
good dad.
very genuine, decent human being all around. Funny as hell too. Great show and just fun to be around. But just genuinely a good guy, good dad.
Yeah, he looks like his whole. I've always thought like he looks like a lot of fun and just nice.
He's a blast.
Just like
7:15 in the morning at breakfast, just a laugh riot, just absolutely fun to be with.
That's awesome.
Yeah, always has great stories, you know.
I'm sure, dude. God, I mean, that guy. He's seen.
He's done so much. He's worked with so many people. His "This Is Not Happening" story about shitting on a cop car. And like hearing that bit in the club and getting to talk to him about it, because on "This Is Not Happening," everything's redacted. Like he doesn't use names or he doesn't talk about the set. You can kind of piece stuff together. But in the green room, he'll tell you all the behind the scenes stuff, and you know, like who was calling him and everything. And it's grand. It makes it that much more spectacular when you know all the actors involved. I think the only one he ever names drops is Johnny Knoxville. He'll always be like, you know, I'm not going to say who it is, but his name sounds a lot like Johnny Knoxville, and then just keeps going, which alludes to it was probably the Dukes of Hazzard movie they were both in together, and then the actress he's talking about is probably Jessica Simpson, but you know, never name drops him on stage because he's a gentleman.
Oh yeah,
he doesn't kiss and tell.
That's awesome. I hope he comes back through.
Me too.
Try and catch him.
Yeah, I have a great bit I caught on video from the sound booth of I walk through and hand him a drink, and he like hops off the stage and follows me, and he's got like a little joke he does with it. But that will probably be the highlight of my time here, my career with Bark Entertainment, is just that time that David Koechner followed me from the stage and was like flirting with me over the mic with the whole crowd listening. It was great.
That's really funny.
It was everything.
Hell yeah. I want to see it.
Josh Blue, I got to play soccer with him in the green room. That was really cool. He brings a soccer ball with him, I guess, everywhere he goes. And yeah, he just sitting back in the green room, smoking, playing soccer, eating snacks.
Fuck
it was everything my parents always told me work wouldn't be. It's like, no one's going to pay you to play games and eat candy. Like, you're sorely mistaken, mother.
See, look.
Yeah. We have esports now. I'm, making salary to play soccer in a green room. She had no idea what she was talking about.
What's esports?
Esports is like gaming where you get paid. It's like people.
They subscribe to your Twitch or whatever?
No. That is a thing. That's a decent way to make some money at it. But no, it's like actual. Like e-sporting events. So ESPN covers it, and like people play League of Legends 5v5 tournament style, and like they'll play till there's a champion crowned. Fortnite, like all the major games have a tournament, but these like huge grand prizes. I don't know what Fortnite's last one was, but
they get paid for advertising, and
I think the grand prize for the last League of Legends tournament I heard about was $250,000 for the winning team. So split 5 ways.
So you do that too, and you can do that and make.
I'm pretty good at most games, but I don't really play professionally. I don't even remember how we got into esports. I don't remember how that came up in conversation. Heard.
Is that code for the talent is here?
No, it's a server that's going to be training tonight. I got to pair her with another server so she can learn the ropes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Before we go, can I ask you, what was the worst country you ever went to that you hated the most?
So
don't say America.
For ethic reasons, definitely this one. But also, I tend to travel to a lot of cool places. I didn't mention Costa Rica. I've been to Costa Rica numerous times. I love Costa Rica. But Costa Rica, Iceland, Ireland, Japan, all these places just full of the nicest people, the most beautiful scenery. Not throwing shade at the entire country or all the people, but fuck Mexico, man.
No way, for real?
Yeah.
Which part of Mexico are you in?
Specifically, fuck Ensenada. But I actually had a really good time. I've had a good time in Tijuana. I've had a really good time in Rosarito. But Ensenada, basically, I was stopped by some cops because I looked too suspiciously clean cut and white to be in the area I was in.
I mean,
and like I'm jumping cliff to cliff, so like I'm wandering in bad neighborhoods when I'm traveling too. I'm always just taking risks, but I specifically was in that neighborhood to buy drugs. They had pinned me exactly right. I'm not happy about it. But they were correct.
Oh, okay.
And so this was in no way my fault. I would like to go on record saying I was buying those drugs for my parents because I'm a good son. My mom had won an award for like Teacher of the Year, and we were out in San Diego to celebrate that. And she wanted to smoke weed in California because it was legal, and at the time it was just medical. And so I tried to buy weed off people for my mom, and everyone was being a real dick about it. It wasn't recreational yet, so I couldn't buy it myself. We didn't have time to go to a doctor, so I just, we were going to Mexico. I was like, I'll buy you some weed in Mexico. It may not be the best weed, but, it's probably decent weed. Good weed's everywhere now.
Yeah.
So we get down to Mexico. I buy my mom some weed, and I buy my stepdad some blow because, again, I'm a good son. And then I get stopped by the police, and I end up locked up in the narcotics division for like 3 days.
What the fuck? That's where all the drugs come from. Why are they arresting you?
Yeah, they were talking about how bad like the weed cartel. Important note is I was able to ditch the blow before they searched me, but I couldn't ditch the weed. Whereas like every time I'd go to that pocket,
how'd you ditch that? You just take it out and like.
As like I saw them approaching, they just like turned for a second to I guess talk to each other, and I just tossed that bag, and then I went to do the other one. They looked back, so I just played cool. And every time
I threw the bag like
just threw it like 4 feet away, just far enough from me to where like it's it's off to the side. They're not going to see it. Like so, I did not get caught with any blow, but I did get caught with an eighth of weed, which they kept trying to tell me was more. They're like, "This is like an ounce." I'm like, that's like, sir, this is not an ounce. I smoke way too much for you to try and pull this shit. And so
you probably should have bribed them.
I tried. So after I bought the drugs, I had about $30 left on me, and $30 is not enough to buy yourself out of trouble in Mexico. But I did talk them into taking me to an ATM, so I could buy my way out. But the problem is I'd made a transaction very recently at an ATM in Mexico, and my bank flagged my card and shut it down. And so the second time I tried to use it at an ATM, it was no longer working. I didn't have access to my funds because I was just going to go back with $200, hand it to him, and call it a day. Hopefully I get to keep the weed. I can go back and find that blow. Like, I was feeling real confident, and then it told me, fucking, you can't get your money, and I ended up locked up. But there's a few things about this that were just super hilarious. One is they have to document all of my tattoos when they take me in, and I have a lot. They are everywhere, and so like I'm having to take off my pants so they can document my thighs and everything.
That's crazy.
The other thing they have to do is they have to like take documentation of any bruising or scars or anything that I have, just to prove like I didn't get roughed up in custody. A couple nights before, I had drunkenly fought with my stepdad on the beach in Rosarito, and we fought. It was all in good fun, absolutely all in good fun.
But y'all were fighting.
But like I think he had a bite mark on his side somewhere.
God,
like I had bruises all of my ribs and back and stuff. Like he got in some good shots. And so whenever like we're doing the tattoos, I start taking off my shirt, and the nurse like audibly was like, "Oh." And like calls over one of the arresting officers, and he sees me, and for the first time expresses concern, like, "Holy shit, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm cool." And I feel like that's the first time I felt like their vibe sort of changed. At first, it was just like, "Here's this nice tourist, we'll get some money," but that was the first time where I ever felt like, who is this guy?
They probably were like, what the hell?
They kept thinking that, especially after my parents came to the jail for the first time to try and get me out, they kept thinking we were like actors from Hollywood. Like, you're all so pretty and white. You're in movies probably. Like, and so anyway, their weird judgments about me aside, I get thrown into...
Y'all are way too hot to just be normal people.
So during the booking process, I go through that process with the lady having to document all my tattoos and everything and my bruising. And I'm told to go into this guy's office and sit down. And there's only 2 seats in the office. There's his seat, clearly his seat, behind the desk, computer, everything. And the seat on the other side, which has like an M16 in it. And so,
like an office chair?
Yeah.
Like a spinny office chair?
Yeah.
With just leaned on it?
Well, just like laying across it. And so I pick it up and I put it on the desk and I sit down, like, just very patiently. One of the officers sees I just grabbed a gun and like started to rush in there, and then like saw I just sat down. So I just grabbed the gun and walked out like, wow, that should have been worse. And absolutely it could have been.
You shouldn't have picked that gun up. You could.
I think I should have. I think I should have clicked off the safety and just made a run for it. I feel like it was not a very busy police station. It got busy. They called in people, but we'll get to that. But starting off, there's like 4 people in there, plus that nice lady. I would try and avoid her, but like those 4, I would get through them in no time. Anyway, aside from Mexican cop murder, so they book me. I get thrown into the cell. I'm in like gin pop with 5 other people. One's like this like 18-year-old heroin addict, clearly going through some withdrawals and just not having a great time. Couple just like mid-20s dudes in there for whatever. And then this old crazy dude who was the only person in there who spoke English, but he'd go in between English and Spanish mid-sentence and didn't seem to know that he was like changing. And also these were all sentences to himself where he's talking about how he's a CIA operative and they burned him and everything.
You weren't talking to him.
I was not talking to that guy.
He was talking to himself.
He was talking to the room and whoever was listening. And I was listening, but I was always trying to pretend like I wasn't listening. But I'm keeping an eye on that guy. But I didn't really feel like too threatened, except by maybe the old crazy dude. But like the other dudes, I felt like I could take them. So I'm sitting in there. The highlight of my time in Mexican jail was my first night. There's like a grate at the top of the wall next to where I'm on the floor sleeping. And the officer's office is on the other side, and he starts listening to the doors. I guess he gets called away and does something. He just leaves it on the doors for like 4 or 5 hours. And so I just lay in jail listening to the doors, which I'd been listening to the last night drinking with my stepdad and fighting on the beach. So it felt very appropriate. They only fed me once while I was in jail.
How many days were you in there?
3 days. They only fed me once. I feel like that is worth noting. I lost like 10 pounds in those like couple days. I went down there. I was like 150 pounds. I think I came back like 137.
Damn.
But anyway, they fed me a cup of instant ramen noodles, and I did not eat them because who knows what water was used. And the last thing I want to happen while I'm in Mexican jail is dysentery.
Oh, yeah.
But that heroin addict had to go into court, and I guess like his mom brought him some food. And so he came back in and he shared his fajitas with everybody.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty cool. I did get to eat some fajitas.
He probably wasn't. He was probably the heroin. He wasn't hungry. He was like, I'm fully satisfied.
Yeah, I'm cool. No, he was scarfing them down, but like he had a lot of food. But also nobody's gonna fuck with that kid because he's sharing his food. Like that's pretty dope. The only guy at any point I was ever worried about was this guy who came in on my last day, and I already know I'm getting out no matter what. Like my time's coming up, they can't hold me any longer, and shit's getting kind of crazy. So like it's in their best interest to let me go. Again, we're gonna get to that. But this guy comes in real big, just MS-13 looking motherfucker, and he lays down and he's trying to like get comfortable to go to sleep, and he takes off his hoodie and uses it as a pillow, and then like pulls his sleeve over his eye, and you can just tell like he can't get comfortable. And I know it's my last day, so I keep my sheet by giving my pillow my blanket and just like, here you go, man. And he takes him, he gets real comfortable, and then he like sits up and he gives me a big thumbs up, and then he lays back down, and then from then I felt totally secure. I was like, the MS-13 dude has my back now, we're cool, this is my jail. So anyway, at some point during my...
The whites are taking over.
Right. But
giving out blankets again?
Right.
God, you're like fucking Christopher Columbus over here.
Just smallpoxing them out of existence. Fucking,
yes, dude.
Yeah.
Revenge.
Man, I didn't realize how much of a colonizer I was.
What
but
a
it's
callback,
just,
dude. Jesus Christ.
It's so ingrained in just my DNA. I can't help it.
500-year callback. That's all
But yeah, so... My mom had realized that they didn't contact the embassy, which they're supposed to do, because if they contact the embassy, then they can't extort us for money, which at this point they had been asking for like $2,000 or $3,000. I don't remember exactly, but I told my mom, like, this isn't my first rodeo. I've been in jail before. I can do 3 days. Don't pay them. So I'm sitting in jail, and day 3 is rolling around, and my mom calls the embassy while she's there because they're still trying to extort money, and so my mom's on the phone, and they start freaking out, and so my mom starts like crying on the phone. Not really crying, but like fake crying. I guess she was an actor. But my mom starts crying and, freaking out to the embassy, who's like, this is very serious. Like, this needed to be reported. I think they have like 24 hours to report and I was like 56 hours in jail.
Oh my God.
So they're already kind of in hot water, and like while they want to snatch that phone out of my mom's hand, if that phone goes dead, we are now in the middle of an international incident. So they end up somehow next door in the courthouse talking to
The embassy? Or your parents?
My parents. They end up in the courthouse next door, and they're talking to a judge. And my stepdad is explaining to the judge how they're trying to extort us and how this is all fucked up and how they keep trying to up the amount of weed I had on me. And it got to this point where the judge is basically just like, yeah, man, you're in fucking Mexico. Where do you think you are? This is what happens here. And that was not the answer my stepdad wanted. So he grabs him by the throat and puts him against the wall.
The judge?
Yes. To which all the officers are now pulling their guns. But my mom reminds them she's on the phone with the embassy, and now we are basically in the middle of a fucking international incident. So one of the arresting officers comes to my cell. And at this point, I've been fairly cool, but there's been a couple of those moments like, you know, who is this guy? Yeah. I'm not saying like I'm the biggest badass. Don't get that impression. But like I fought a lot. I feel very confident in my abilities. And
how old were you?
At this point,
weren't you like,
I was like 25 at this point.
Weren't you like climbing and all ripped probably too?
I was in good shape, but I was definitely a little lighter at that point.
But you're probably bigger than they were though. Probably bigger than most of them.
No, I was at this point I was only like 150, and by day like 3, like
height wise.
Oh, you know, I don't really remember.
Wait a second. Yeah. Go ahead.
But anyway, so the arresting officer comes to my cell to like ask me to go calm down my parents and get like the judge, you know, released from my stepdad and my mom off the phone. And so for the first time, I just kind of like, you know, let out a little more of who I am. I was like, man, I'm gonna let you know now that this is going to end one of two ways. Either you're gonna let me out and we're all just gonna go about our way, or I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure you die here today. And I'm going to take your ID. I'm going to go to your home. And I'm going to murder everyone I find in that fucking house. Man, woman, child, I don't give a shit. So he goes back and he gets the other officer, who I admittedly liked a lot better, and we had been bonding throughout the course of me being incarcerated and extorted. And so he comes over, and I explained to him basically the same thing. But I left out the thing about, like, you know, your mother or children, whoever's in the house. But it's like, I'll go to your house and fucking hunt down anyone in there. And so they go back to my parents now, like, with no answer. I don't know exactly how all that de-escalates because I'm in a cell. I just know 20 minutes later I'm sitting in the chief of police's office, and I end up being let go. And that is how I got out of the Ensenada Narcotics Division. But like I was put into a box truck and shackled at a point. Like there's all kinds of crazy experiences that happened in those 3 days. Like when they took me to like be medically evaluated, they had me like in this absolute like black box truck. Like you can't see anything. It's all blacked out in there. And so you walk out into the jarring daylight. Like it was crazy. It was like being transported in a coffin, but everyone's sitting, and like you're sitting.
Oh, there's people in there with you?
Yeah, you're in there with like 3 other dudes.
And you can't even see them?
No, like you cannot see this far in front of your face. So you're sitting on a bench and they're all next to you, and like the wall in front of you is this far from your knee, so you can't like go anywhere, and you're just like shackled hands to feet and just sitting in this black box.
Yeah.
It was a really crazy, weird experience. And then we got out of there. We went back to Rosarito, where we knew a good bartender who was telling us he could get us weed, just not that night. So it's the next week now. I come back and I'm like, hey man, you got that weed? So he ends up like smoking me out. Very important part of that story. I stole a car to get back to that bartender. We had a car. Like we had rented a car for this trip. My parents, we went back to this other hotel, and then I wanted to go see the bartender of this hotel. I started walking, and a little bit down the road, I realized this probably isn't very safe. I shouldn't walk this like 1.8 miles. And there's this row of cars out in front of like
back stateside though?
No, this is still in Mexico.
Okay.
This is Rosarito.
Okay.
And so I'm walking down. There's like this little strip of like restaurants and shops and stuff. I just start looking in cars, and one of them had the keys in there. Tried the door. It opened. I just took their car. I drove down to the bar. I smoked with that bartender. Had a couple of drinks. Smoked again. Got a little weed from him for the road. Took the car back. Parked it in the same spot. Got out. Went back to the hotel. Nothing ever came of it. But I think somewhere in my Google Drive there is some great Snapchats I took of like, you know, like I had stolen the car already. I'm driving down the road, and I don't know if you're a fan of Archer at all, but I'm like driving, and I'm like, rampage!
Arthur, the cartoon?
Archer. The spy, like the cartoon spy. Like
yeah. I know. I'm not familiar, but I don't know that.
Yeah, he at some point he gets cancer and he goes on this like rampage. I don't even remember why. I think it's somehow relevant to the cancer, but whatever. He goes on this rampage, but as he's about to like walk into the building to kill people, he just like rampage and then goes in shooting like a madman. And so I took like a series of Snapchats from inside the stolen car. Like I Snapchat that whole adventure.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
And I sent them all. The great thing about this is I'm in Mexico, though, so I don't have service. The next day, we start driving back across the border, which just, like, getting through the border took 4 to 6 hours.
Oh, God, it's a nightmare.
And so it was probably, like, 18, 20 hours after I had sent these snaps that I finally get service, and so they send. And so all my friends get bombarded at once with this series of snaps of me having stolen a car, and we get to our hotel in California, where I almost, like, I go and I take the world's best shower and then go pass out and don't see my phone for like 18 hours. So everyone saw like some pictures before they'd taken my phone away in jail. I'd gotten some photos of like my shackles and everything. Then they got the Snapchats of me in a stolen car, and then they got Snapchats of me smoking weed and drinking, and then nothing. And so a lot of my friends were just freaking out like, holy shit, he died in Mexico. But that's the story of how I got arrested in Mexico.
Saint Nick of, what'd you say the town was?
Of Ensenada. Saint Nick of Ensenada.
Saint Nick of that's
honestly, I would be one of the best saints. I don't know if you know a lot about the saints. They were all pretty terrible people.
I don't know.
Mother Teresa gave a bunch of people AIDS, like millions of people AIDS. That was
I thought she was a virgin.
Not that way with needles and stuff. Like they didn't believe in like sanitizing needles in their programs, and so like they were just like going from one person to the next with those needles.
They didn't believe in it.
Like they
were just like, God will take care of that.
So Mother Teresa's version of saving you, everyone thought when she said, I want to save like the sick and poor, that she meant like help. She meant save your soul. If you died and went to heaven, she succeeded. Whether or not that was in her shelter or 10 years down the road didn't matter to her. So if you died this week, if she gave you AIDS and you died a year from now, that's not what's important. What's important is that she saved your soul.
Are you saying that Mother Teresa purposely killed people with AIDS? So
I don't think she was intentionally giving people AIDS. I just don't think that she cared she was giving people AIDS. And the workers in her, like they interviewed workers in her little fucking chapels or whatever they're called, and they like still in the 90s and 2000s they were just like running needles under cold water and then using them again. She's a saint. She also hung around a lot of dictators. When she died, she had like $70 million in her personal account that was like transferred to the Vatican. Like a bunch of shady shit. And she is not even close to the worst. My favorite of the saints.
Are you Catholic?
My mom was Catholic.
Okay.
But my favorite of the saints that I know too much about is Saint Olga, who is the patron saint of widows. And she was alive back in like 850, 880. And she was married to, I don't remember his name, but they were basically like the king and queen of Kyiv, which is now like the capital of Ukraine. It was like a thriving metropolis back then. It was like one of the world's biggest cities, like them, Constantinople. Like, it's that era. And so her husband is off collecting taxes, and the Drevlians, he had kept increasing the tax rate on, and eventually they got tired of it. So when he came by to increase taxes, he came by with like just a couple of dudes because they always pay. They're weak. I'm not worried about them. They decided enough is enough, and they decided to kill him. They did this in the most medieval fucking way possible, which is they tied ropes around 2 birch trees, pulled them down, tied him to the birch trees, and then let them fucking rip him in twain. So word of this gets back to Olga. In twain. Word of this gets back to Olga, and she's clearly not happy about it. So now being like the queen of Kyiv and having to run things,
she's about to go full Olga.
Right. She wants to get some revenge, but she still has to be a ruler. Like that comes first, and so she's just kind of biding her time. She is now the most eligible bachelorette in all of the land because she's like the most powerful woman at the time, and so everyone's shooting the shot, including the prince of the Drevlians. Like after they killed her husband, they're fucking like, "Hey, marry our son. Like let's a power couple. Come on, let's do it." And so they send out this like boat of people to send the offer, and so she has her men dig a trench and then like lift the boat up in like the ceremonious style, so everyone thinks like, "Oh, we're a part of a parade," and then they just throw the boat in the hole and bury them alive. Because nobody survives, no word gets back to the Drevlians that she's not interested. So she sends back word and says, okay, I'm interested, but I'm not going to be escorted by just peasants. Send like your finest governors and dukes or whatever. So he sends them out. And when they get there, she's like, you're too nasty. I'm not traveling with slobs. Go to the bathhouse and clean yourselves up. Once they go in, she barricades the door and burns the bathhouse down with them inside. Then, still not getting the memo that she's not into it, she tells them, hey, I'm going to come out there. Let's do this big wedding ceremony. Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Yeah.
The Red Wedding was real.
Oh, is that what this is based on?
Yeah. So basically, Olga, her and her soldiers, are outside the Drevlian's walls, and like everyone's having this massive feast. All of their soldiers, a bunch of their townspeople are all there getting drunk. Everyone's getting hammered except for Olga and her soldiers, who then slaughter everybody. Afterwards, as a show of goodwill, she said, I will make peace with you, and we'll just let bygones be bygones if you give me 3 birds from each household. I just want 3 messenger birds. I don't know if you know how messenger birds work. You don't just like say, hey, go fly to Thomas, and then it goes to Thomas. You have to take it from its nest, and then you send the message off of the bird, and it'll fly back to its nest. It knows where home is. So she took those birds, ties back.
Oh, you take the bird from its nest?
Yeah, and it just knows how to get back home.
And is somebody there waiting on it?
Yeah, so like I would take your bird, go back to my house, and then I would like send a message like 2 days later, hey, come over, bring beer, and then the bird would fly back to you, and you get the message.
So you're telling me that anybody can have a messenger bird?
Yeah, you can have messenger birds right now, man.
I want to bring. I don't mean to.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
I never thought of that. That's so efficient.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So she ties little bags of sulfur to their feet and sets it on fire and then releases all the birds. So they fly back to their nest, which is all the homes and buildings of the Drevlian's town. So just
3 of them.
3 birds from each household. So they go to every house. They burn down basically the whole fucking town. Slaughtered, all their soldiers in the Red Wedding-esque style. Like just totally, destroyed this place, and anyone who was left alive was either killed or was spared, but told that they were not allowed to leave the city limits. You can live, but you have to live in your burned down, shitty fucking town for the rest of your miserable life. And then pieces out back to Kiev. Eventually, she ends up marrying what's his name, Constantine, and she converts to Roman Catholicism, which is how she ended up becoming one of the patron saints. She is the patron saint of widows, and she murdered a lot of people. And that's basically like the par for saints. If you really look into any of these saints, they're not great people.
Was she hot?
Assumably.
I bet she was hot.
Russian girls are usually pretty cute.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine like somebody pulling all that shit off but being hot as fuck?
Yeah.
But then but her name was Olga, so in my imagination I was like, she's probably
I'm imagining
troll.
Olga from like Metal Gear Solid 2, and like that was a big crush of mine whenever I was like 11 years old. So like that's what I'm picturing whenever I have that. But one of the other ones, one of the quicker ones, because I probably should get to work at some point.
You good on that?
Saint Patrick is. He is known for driving the snakes from Ireland. That's a pretty cool thing. I'm not a big fan of snakes, so that's great. There's no snakes in Ireland. Is it because he drove them? Well, I mean, there's no geological records, like no fossils of snakes ever having been in Ireland. So it just doesn't seem like they live there because it's not an applicable climate.
It's cold.
Right. So where does that come from? Like, why do we say he drove the snakes from Ireland? Well, snakes is actually a popular slang term for pagans at the time. And he converted and drove pagans from their homelands when they wouldn't convert. And lots of people died. It was, basically.
Oh, yeah. I think I've heard this one. It was
like, genocide plus like gentrification they did make things better. Like they produced some like really impressive like tablets and everything. So like they generally, I guess, brought value to the area, but while also displacing everyone who had already been living there and making them convert to their religion. And it's not a pretty picture. It's not good. So the fact that we make all of these people saints, one, why, but two, also maybe says a little bit about the religion itself. Like the same people that were diddling the boys all throughout, I guess all throughout time, but we've heard a lot throughout the 90s and 2000s, like all these boys who've been diddled by the church. Like the Catholic Church, the one with all the saints
Yeah.
that killed people and drove pagans from their homelands. Like, I'm not super surprised
Yeah, they're the worst.
that they didn't draw the line at touching little boys either. So
No, they're the absolute worst.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel
Hi,
like
Pope Francis.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. I know you're tuned in right now.
Is
I
that
appreciate
the current
it.
Pope?
I believe so.
Cool.
Francis, I went to his church down in Argentina while I was down there.
Oh
in
yeah,
Buenos
he's kind
Aires.
of like liberal. That's right. I forgot.
He's definitely one of probably the better popes. We've had a lot of bad popes throughout history. I know a lot about some.
And then before that, you had a couple other guys.
Was it Benedict the Ninth? I think it was the guy who like sold the papacy. Like he was kicked out, he came back, and then he sold the papacy, and then like came back and became pope again.
Was this a long time ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Popes have been around forever, just doing diabolical
Yeah,
shit.
they have all
They used
that
to have
fucking
sex
smoke
parties and stuff.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
They didn't have Netflix back then.
Yeah, you got to do a lot of fucking to compensate for Stranger Things. Yeah.
Because they don't do any fucking on that show. At least not till probably season 7 or 8, maybe.
And it's coming. They're
no,
gonna.
wait, they do. Some of them. Some of the older kids have. Yeah, there's some nasty shit going on there.
Oh, there you go.
The Catholics, the Roman Catholics, the Roman Empire, the Huns, the fucking whoever that has conquered the world over many times. What if like instead of like for example England, what if when they went to Ireland they met all the pagans, instead of like driving them out, what if they're just like, hey, can we do this? And they're like, mm-mm. I'm like, okay, well, what about this? And then sort of what if there were still those era pagans but still alive, like they wore like cloaks and they were on TikTok like you know what I mean, and there was like uproar about like they're still sacrificing virgins over there in 2022, and they're like, this is our culture, don't come over here, colonizer. I don't know.
I imagine it's out there somewhere. Like,
or like if dinosaurs.
There's got to be a
around.
gypsy with a TikTok out there, just like walking around in a badass cloak, living their best life, traveling in a wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if dinosaurs, not all of them, but like some of them were around still. Like you would encounter them, like more like rats in New York or something like that. Oh, you see them, but like but they were still full on dinosaurs and they'd fucking eat you.
Yeah, I would
like,
definitely own a raptor.
I would.
That vision of Jesus on a raptor. Like that's how I just commute to work. Long flowing robe, an AR, and just a fucking raptor, and that's how I'm crossing 2nd Street Bridge every day.
MAGA hat.
Just goose stepping as soon as I get off.
Holy shit!
The raptor will goose step as he runs. That's
right.
That's part of the shtick.
That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
Well,
he's got little armbands on his tiny arms.
Oh no. Nick Nomads.
Yeah.
Thank you for we'll do it again. This was you're a very interesting person to talk to. I'd love to talk to you more and like hear your story. I have some dumbass stories of my adventures I'd love to share with you too sometime. But I feel like I want to hear more about your international travel stuff.
Oh, they got wild there for a couple of years. There's some pretty good stories in there.
Yeah, I bet they did. I can imagine. But I guess we better. Joe Deuce is about to come up.
Yeah.
And rock it out. Thanks again, man. It's a great club. I think you're doing a good job. From my point of view, it seems like you're doing a good job at it. It's a good place to come for comedians, and I think for non-comedians too. So.
No, we don't care about them.
Fuck those guys. Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Take it easy, bub.
Yep.